I can apply the distributive property to solve multiplication problems. Let's review what parentheses mean because we're going to talk about those. They tell us what to do first in math. Generally what the distributive property does is it helps us find multiplication problems, the answers, or find products we don't know. What it means is that when multiplying a factor and a sum, a times b plus c, you can distribute the factor across the addition and add a times b plus a times c. Sounds a little bit confusing here with these a's and b's, but when you see it in action, it makes a little bit more sense, and you probably already kind of do it sometimes. This is used to solve products you don't know. So let's take 7 times 6. That's what we're going to start with. And what we're going to do is we're going to break that down into that a times b plus c. So a is going to be 7 times, and then b plus c. What we're going to do is we're going to do 5 plus 1. And the reason we choose 5 plus 1 is because 5 plus 1 equals 6. So it's the same problem. And you can see I drew that over here. I drew 5 rows of 7. So this is 7 times 5. And then I drew 1 row of 7. So this is 7 times 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So since these add up to 6, really what I can do is I can do 7 times 5, or distribute the 7 to the 5 and to the 1. 7 times 5 plus 7 times 1. This might be easier if I don't know what 7 times 6 is. But wait, I know that 7 times 5, that equals 35. And well, 7 times 1, that equals 7. So 35 plus 7. 35 plus 7, that equals 42. You might want to do that over here because it does involve regrouping. 5 plus 7 is 12, 1 plus 3 is 4, and it's 42. And then our product ends up coming right up. 7 times 6 is 42. The reason for this is if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 rows of 7. All I did was just count them in different ways. I counted 5 first and then 1, and I added them up and got to my product of 42. And that's how it can be used to solve products you don't know. But this isn't the only way to do it, because you can add up to 6 in more than one way. So let's do 7 times 6 again, but this time let's do 7. And let's replace 6 with 3 plus 3. Okay, so here's 3. Here's 3 plus 3 is 6. All right. Well, that means I'll just distribute the 7 to the 3 and to the 3. So I do 7 times 3. Put parentheses, because I have to do that first. And I do 7 times 3 again. Oh, well, that shouldn't be too bad. I really only then have one multiplication problem to solve. 7 times 3 and 7 times 3. Well, 7 times 3 is 21. It's the same both times, and I just add it up. 21 plus 21, 2 plus 2 is 42. So 21 plus 21 equals 42, and we already figured that out, that 7 times 6 equals 42 on the last slide. We don't always have to break it apart like that. Say I'm good with 6. I can multiply by 6 pretty well, but I just don't know 7 times 6. Let's flip it around. Let's do 6 times 7. And here, what I've broken it down into is I have rows of 6, and here I have 5, and then I have 2. So 5 plus 2 is 7. So we'll change this to 6 times 5 plus 2. Here's 5 rows of 6, here's 2 rows of 6, which is really distribute the 6, distributive property, 6 times 5 plus 6 times 2. And you can see this array over here. You have 6 times 5, and then you have 6 times 2. And if you figure out these two products, you'll end up with 6 times 7. 6 times 5, that's 30, and 6 times 2 is 12. 30 plus 12 is 42. Over here, 30 plus 12, and then my sum is 42, giving me my product, again, of 6 times 7 equals 42. The key to distributive property is to break the problem down into something manageable for you to solve in case you don't know the original product. It can also be used to help with areas of rectangles, because when you do the area of a rectangle, it's just like an array, and multiply how many rows times how many columns. In this case, I have 6 times 5. What I have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each row, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So what I've done here in this picture is I put a rectangle here that's shaded in green, that's 4, and a rectangle that's unshaded, that's 2, because 4 plus 2 is 6. So I can replace the 6 with 4 plus 2, and still multiply them both times 5. And that's going to give me my answer, my unknown of star. Well, then I can distribute the 5 and have 4 times 5 plus 2 times 5. And again, to the picture, I'm finding how many blocks are here by doing 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Figure out how many green blocks, and then figure out how many white blocks, 1, 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I add them up, I'll have the total, which is really 5 times 6, because 4 plus 2 is 6. So 4 times 5, 20, plus 2 times 5 is 10. 20 plus 10 is 30. So I go back to the original, 6 times 5 is 30. I was looking for an unknown, so that means that star is going to equal 30 in this problem. So I can apply the distributive property to solve multiplication problems. I want you to solve 8 times 6. Even if you know it, break it down in just one way and use the distributive property to break down a factor. So you can choose the 8 or the 6. You might want to go with the 6 and do 8 times 5 plus 1. Then break it down and draw an array where you separate that out into 2 separate sections. You're doing 8 times 5, 8 times 1, you add it all together, and you get the total product for 8 times 6 at the end.